this is Dr. Guy, and I just want to provide a quick recap on the show this week. This past week, we talked about who's the prize in a relationship. Is it the woman or is it the man? And we had two guests that joined us, Megan Pickens, licensed professional counselor, and Corey Hughes, author, speaker. And so we had a great conversation. The topic was brought up because of an article that was written about a young law student who just graduated with his JD degree, and he posted something on Instagram, I think. And in his post, he wrote that he was single, no kids, just gotten his JD degree, and that now he's the prize. And so this is a conversation that Steve and I have had on and off the air several times. And so I thought it was interesting reading this article. So you would think maybe that because this gentleman just graduated from law school, he is single, he doesn't have any kids, that maybe he is the prize for some. But that wasn't the response that he got from the post. In fact, he got a lot of negative backlash from that post that he made. And so on the show, we talked about who is the prize, or who's seen as the prize in a relationship. Is it the woman who is the prize in a relationship, or is it the man who's the prize in a relationship? And so obviously we went back and forth. We have our female perspective, our male perspective on the show. And what came up was very interesting, that I think it was Corey who mentioned that one of his experiences was a woman pretty much told him that she was the prize, that she made good money, that she was attractive. I think that she didn't have any kids, and so she saw herself as the prize. And Corey pretty much said, those are pretty much the credentials of all of the women that I date, so you're not that extraordinary to me. And so obviously that sparked some alarm when he said it, that he pretty much told her that she wasn't the prize because she was pretty ordinary in comparison to other women that he dates. And so the question then was about, are women seen as the prize in their eyes only because of their accomplishments? But the same goes for men. Are they seen as the prize because of their accomplishments? Well, some of the responses that were voiced on the show was that they also disagreed with the young man's post on Instagram, calling himself the prize. And not because he potentially isn't the prize for someone, but he's not the prize. And so for them, they said that it came off as being arrogant, and that arrogance just is not an attractive feature. So they frowned upon the post as well, not saying that he wasn't right. So the women on the show kind of favored against him making the post. The men on the show said they can see how it may have came off as a sense of arrogance, but let's be truthful. He is the prize. He has these qualities that women are looking for. So is it not true that he's the prize? So this kind of debate that we had went back and forth, and what seems to be a commonality between the women on the show was that it's not that he isn't the prize for someone, but he's not the prize. So they felt more comfortable in saying he's a prize, which would imply that he is a prize for someone. So it seemed as though it was more about semantics, the wording that he used. He's not the prize, but he is a prize, would have made them feel more comfortable with reading his post. I guess I can see that. But we really like talking about this conversation because we hear that. And Steve and I have talked again about this on the show and off the show, about how when dating, Steve says, dating women, because he always says this, that he's dated more women than I have, and he's absolutely correct because I've never dated a woman. So he's dated more women, And in his experience, he says that women have been given a false narrative by their parents, a false narrative to believe that women are the prize in the relationship. And so he disagrees with that because he sees himself as the prize in the relationship as a man. Him and I differ with that. And then Corey Hughes gave us a different perspective. Corey Hughes said that the prize in the relationship, if we were going to go to biblical terms, is the woman. And then he brings us back to he who finds a wife, I'm sure you guys know, finds a good thing. So Corey said that if we were talking about biblical wise, what's considered or who's considered the prize in a relationship, then it is the woman. But he did also say that he can see how men can see themselves as the prize. So why is this even an issue? Why are people even talking about it? Why do they care? And I think it became an issue for that gentleman in that article because he offended some people. I think he offended quite a few people because he says, I'm not this guy. I'm not the guy who has baby mama drama. I'm not the guy who's been incarcerated. I'm not. So he may have offended and stepped on some toes with a lot of other people. But the reality is he has some great qualities, which possibly does make him a catch. So Corey, I believe, brought this up on the show and said, if one of your girlfriends were dating this gentleman and he gave his resume, your friends would probably say, girl, you got you a good one. Okay. Maybe. Depends on what you value in a relationship. But again, on paper, maybe he looks good on paper, so that's why he felt that he could call himself the catch. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that that is a valid and true statement for him. But it seemed to cause so much controversy by this simple post. And so as we were talking on the show, again, we went back and forth about what is the real issue, right? Like, is it semantics? Is it about saying someone is the prize, someone is a prize? Is it about how the person carries him or herself because they believe that they're the prize? Does it mean that this person comes off with a sense of arrogance and no one likes this arrogance, whether it's a male or a female? It brought up all these different topics that we discussed. And so my question still remains, is the prize in a relationship the woman? Is the prize in the relationship the man? Or what Steve and I have both now agreed upon, that could it possibly be that the prize in a relationship is neither her nor him, but the prize in a relationship is a healthy relationship? So what does that mean? It means that both parties should value their own worth, right? Like, I want the female in that relationship to really believe that she is a prize, the prize. But I also want the man to believe that he is a prize, the prize, which is why they're both in this relationship together. And so if they're both feeling that they bring value and worth to the relationship, then the prize that you receive from that is a healthy relationship. Like, I think that has to be the end goal. Whether we debate, whether we spend hours debating about the semantics and the words of the prize, a prize, at the end of the day, what really matters is, can these people who consider themselves prizes find each other and develop healthy relationships? Because that's really all that matters. The point is, can you find someone to love you? Can you love that person back equally? And can you guys develop and grow and nurture a healthy relationship, however you see yourself entering into that particular relationship? So that was the conclusion for me at the end of the show, that the prize is neither her nor him, but the prize is the relationship. So I'm still curious to hear what people's thoughts are, because they were very adamant on the show about whether they believed he is the prize or whether they believed whether they believe she's the prize or he's the prize. If we looked at it from a biblical standpoint, she's the prize. Whether we look at it because someone has accomplished so many things that they now have earned the right to call themselves the prize, I don't know. For me, it's the relationship. But I'm curious to know, what do you think? Who is the prize in the relationship? Is it her? Is it him? Or is it just the healthy relationship? But that was our show for the week. So if you didn't get a chance to catch it, that's kind of the quick recap of the show. And hopefully you can catch the next one. It's Sunday, 4 p.m. And it's Dr. Guy's Gumbo Talk. And you can listen online live at blogtalkradio.com/Nisha2. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.